So obviously I was a ball of emotion when I got arrested. I mean, I went up to my parents' house in my mind thinking that I was entitled to getting my medication back, the Suboxone and Xanax. I was 32 years old at the time. It's not like I was a child. I was, staying at Jeff's condo, sleeping over. And I was prescribed those medications, and I needed the Suboxone at the time, and I needed the Xanax at the time. I was like physically dependent to Xanax. I was physically dependent to Suboxone. But at that point, I was shooting about, I don't know. Jeff and I debate this all the time. He thinks I was shooting 8 strips a day. I think it was like more like 5 or 6. He thinks it's more. Jeff's always like, oh, no, it was 8. I don't know, though. Whatever it was, let's just say 8, I don't think it was that much. I honestly, I think it was 5. I don't know. Even 5 is ridiculous, and it doesn't give you a rush. It's pointless. So not only did I feel betrayed, I mean, I was really emotional when they cuffed me. I was screaming. I was like, Dad, why would you do this to me? Dad. I mean, it's really sad. I have the footage of this. We have it for the documentary. I had the GoPro. I had my friend Brent's GoPro. So we don't. It like you can hear the audio and you can like kind of see some of the movement, but just the audio by itself is pretty haunting. And so I felt betrayed. I was still in psychosis. So, when you're in psychosis, you're like, was it the guys in the suits? Was it Karina's Sancho? Was it Josh? Was it Zach? Was it Jerry Stahl? No, you're just acting like a fucking lunatic, and you got a warrant for your arrest because you're threatening your PO. You're calling the governor. You're calling the FBI trying to, like, get a restraining order or, like, get moved to a different probation department because you think it's going to be better. Of course you're going to jail. And I remember getting cuffed and just, if you're a junkie, if you're strung out on methadone, heroin, painkillers, any sort of opiate or opioid, and there's a difference. Have I ever explained the difference between an opiate and opioid? Do you guys know the difference? Opioids are synthetic. Opiates are derived from the poppy plant. So like an example of opiate is morphine is an opiate. So is heroin. Opioids are like Oxycontin, Norco. Those are opioids. So anyone that's addicted to opiates or opioids knows that feeling. When the cuffs go on you, there's this primal sense of fear because especially if you've been to jail as many times as I have, or if you're one of those people that's just been in and out of it your entire life, you know exactly what to expect. You're about to go through hell. And I mean, let's just say I was slamming five subs a day. That's a lot of buprenorphine. That's a really hardcore kick. I didn't cry, but I felt like crying. I mean, there was like a million emotions. And also I knew that I was not coming home for a very long time. I didn't know, Josh and the probation department had been telling me that I was looking at least 3 or 4 years in federal custody, having to do 100% of the time on a violation. No good time. 3 or 4 actual years. Pretty much my first term again for catching the violation. And the state was saying that I was going to have to do 3 with half. Now, 3 with half in the state means 18 months. In state prison, you can get some time off, like if you take your GED, or you get something called milestones if you like complete so many hours of AA while you're there. So you can get like a month, 2, maybe 3 shed off, But still, I was looking at 5, maybe 6 years in prison. And all of that was hitting me at once. You know, that I might be, oh, not might be, that I was going to miss the birth of Nico. You know, I wasn't even going to get to see him right when he entered the world for the first time. I was going to have to meet him through photographs first. You know, and it's not like those thoughts are lucid, but it's just a barrage of different things hitting you at once. And I remember I got really creepy, you know, and I'm still in like egomaniac psychosis. And it had gone from me thinking that I was like some sort of famous writer or, you know, public figure to thinking that I was, like I said before, like a Gandhi or Martin Luther King type figure for prison reform. So, I mean, I'm saying really crazy stuff. I'm like, you know, I'm sitting there handcuffed because in the back of the cop car, you have to be handcuffed like that. And I'm like, what's it like being a fucking pig? It's like some shit you'd see in a movie where like someone's in a straitjacket and they just sound insane. I'm like, piggy, piggy, piggy. You punk ass bitch. Yeah, how much do you make? Huh? How much do you make a month? How much do you make a year? What is it? 30 or 40,000 with benefits? Loser. I had like $30 in my PayPal at the time. Cops just not, you know, giving me any attention, not entertaining me and my shit talking. So he just turns up the radio, full blast, or it's blasting it. And it's Black Eyed Peas. I got a feeling that tonight's gonna. And I'm just like, fucking love that song. They're getting all emotional. It's like, damn. No more good times for me for a while. Going to the county, boys. And in my mind, I was like, well, I did what I was supposed to. I generated a big enough following where public opinion will never allow this. I was in the newspaper. There'll be parades. Wait, how long ago did I post my viral video? I was like, I'm going viral any minute. It doesn't even matter. These guys are going to feel so stupid when I'm sitting in jail and I'm going viral. Losers. So like now I'm not upset anymore. I'm just smiling like a fucking psychopath. You know, Mall Massacre guy. Hey, I'm the Mall Massacre guy. I'm Ryan. How you doing? Oh, right here. Set up right here. Okay. Yeah, no, we'll massacre in about 7-8 minutes. Fuck it. All right. Can I smoke real quick? All right, cool. Cool. Thanks, Timmy. I'm looking out the window and I'm watching Santa Barbara scroll past me. I know this drive. The drive where you're in custody and you know that you're going away for a long time. I've been sitting in the same position multiple times now. And I think that makes it worse, you know? You hear all the time that someone's solid their whole career. It's crazy. That's what, for those of you that aren't a criminal or a convict or have done, you know, standard weekend in the county or whatever, do a weekend in the county and you're like, should I get a jail tattoo? I'm like, what do you mean? Like the word jail tattooed on me? Maybe on my neck. So people know I've done county time. Yeah, bro. Sounds fucking bomb, bro. Links in the bio. No. It's not even funny. I don't know why. I don't know. Sinister told me that joke one time, and I say it all the time. And it's like one of those things that I say out loud, and then I'm just like, why did I just say that? It wasn't even funny. So anyway, I find, you know, it's kind of interesting that you see these guys that, or what I was going to say, I'm sorry, I lost my fucking train of thought. It's late right now. People call their criminal career their career. Like, man, Stabbed a dude on my last term. Made my whole career. Damn right I did. Oh, yeah? What do you get now? Free stamps when I go to the county jail. What a bug. What a bug crawling. I mean, jeez. But it's funny how these guys that call the crime stuff their career, a lot of those guys end up turning into rats, I've noticed. You know, like these guys will be solid, solid, solid their whole career. And then out of nowhere, you'll hear, damn, did you hear about Snake? No, man, what happened to Snake? Who's Snake? Never mind. You hear what happened to him? Nah. Flip, man. He's an informant now. He's working for the man. No way. Damn, didn't see that coming. That's weird. Snake sounds like a solid guy. Yeah, I know. It's a shame. His whole career's fucked. It's kind of sad that people, A, call that their career, and B, that, you know, as a criminal, you got like pretty much one job. Don't tell on people. You know, it's like the one thing that you have to do consistently in your life to remain a good criminal. You can't be a snitch and then expect to go through the system and like come out completely unscathed. Hell no. You can't do that. You know, it follows you everywhere and you're always in danger. But I think that the reason these older guys do it, and you see these like, oh my God, it's so weird. He spent like 40 years of his life in jail and he decides to start ratting now. Well, he's done 40 years. He's over it. These guys get like, there's like a threshold and they tap out, you know? And then they're a criminal and a snitch. This is the worst, you know? Like every time they go somewhere, they have to fear getting beat up in jail. Every time they go into a new unit, maybe someone will recognize them. I remember pulling up to that jail that night and I was so emotional and I had so many different thoughts racing around in my head that it was almost as if I was in shock. You know, it's like maybe like had the way you feel like if you break a bone and it doesn't even hurt, your shock's just kind of carrying you through. It's almost surreal, like a dream. That's how this felt. I get to the jail and I'm yelling at the cops right when I get there. You know, when they come and they start escorting me there, I was like, oh, fucking back, you pig piece of shit. Hope you fucking die on the way home, bitch. I turned into like some exorcist convict. You know, I was like, ah, you son of a fucking bitch. It was really scary because I like didn't even recognize the voice. It was like some weird, deep like voice, like speaking Latin. No, I'm just kidding. That's the exorcist. But I remember talking shit and everything else is kind of blurry. I don't really remember what happened. I just know that I was yelling at cops and somehow I was bending over. This is true. I'm not joking. I was bending over and I was showing a dude. He had a beard. I remember that. Showing some dude my asshole. I was spreading my and you know, like sometimes like I've been in that situation where they want to like shine a flashlight up to your butthole. They're like, whoa, whoa, we heard you might have a balloon. Come on, let us see the butthole. And you know what I always do? I always bend over, like, you know, to spread my butt cheeks and show my butthole. And I'll like do the thing with my fingers. You know how they do that in porn magazines? Like how girls like, you know, they'll like bend over and they'll like kind of spread their, well, their pussy lips. For lack of a better term. I don't know, vagina lips. That sounds kind of like, sounds like sex offenderish. Well, yeah, no, they bend over and then they would spread their vagina lips. That sounds weird. Pussy lips sounds better, does it not? I don't know. I'm just a tacky kind of guy. But I don't really remember anything beyond getting to jail, talking shit, and then bending over and then looking at my ass with a flashlight and then putting me into suicide watch. And I was like, you know, as soon as I realized that I was in suicide watch, I got really mad because there's no phone in there. There's no way of contacting the outside world, you know? I was coming off Suboxone and Xanax. So the last thing you want to do is be in suicide watch. You want to be in general population with everybody else so that you can possibly get drugs or use the phone, call your family, try to get out. I mean, I knew that I wasn't going to be able to bail out because I had a federal probation hold, but I wanted to at least, call my family, call Karina, even though we were fighting at the time, call somebody, and also to try to get drugs. But I screwed myself because I was probably like, I'm going to kill myself, you fucking pig. 40,000 hours a year, you're a bitch. I want to kill myself. And then it's like somehow I wound up in suicide watch. And I remember banging my head against the bars. Like in Santa Barbara County, when you're on the suicide observation cell, there's bars and there's like somebody sitting in a chair, and they're playing like Sudoku. And you're like, hey, I still want to kill myself. He's like, shh, hold up, man. Hold up. I'm just like, it's always some inmate doing the suicide watch job, no matter where you are. Suboxone it's funny because Suboxone and Xanax can carry you for a long time. Benzos have a long shelf life, shelf life. Oh, well, they expire in 6 months. They have a long half-life. So does Suboxone, I mean, you truly don't start getting sick until about 72 hours, and that's how long suicide watch is. But you start going through the psychological panic of it. You start going through, the preliminary phases of withdrawal. You get the runny nose and you start panicking. And I got to a point where I'd hit my head against the bar so much that I was bleeding, and then the nurse had to come and she had to patch it up. While she's patching me up, she's like, hey, you're Ryan Leone, aren't you? I'm like, it's Leone. She's like, I read your book. How much of that is true? All of it. Help me. She's like, what's wrong, honey? I was like, help me. And then I just fell asleep. Now, that was from sleep deprivation, and that's 100% true. That's how it happened. I had gashed my head open, and I had a nurse that was tending to the wound, and she had read my book, or maybe she saw the billboard or the newspaper, but somehow she knew who I was. And I remember talking to her, and then that's all I remember. See, all of this stuff was spotty in the beginning of this. Finally, they take me off suicide watch. Now, I'd been there 3 days, knew that I was getting dope sick, but tried to put mind over matter, anticipating that it was going to take a while to actually kick in the withdrawal. So I finally decide just to be compliant, just shut up, sit there, deal with already not feeling very well, and just kind of wait for the full-blown Suboxone kick and Xanax kick to come on. So finally I get out of there, and they bring me to classification, and they say, okay, are you good to go anywhere? General population, you need to go to protective custody. What do you want to do? So what do I want to do? What kind of question is that? General population, can you put me in the mods? The mods is where they put convicts, people that have been to actual prison. So it's like, it looks like a prison. It's 2-man cells. It's much more respectful. It's not a bunch of petty stuff. It's not a bunch of young kids just, trying to enforce their weird, misconstrued, politics. The mods is where you want to go if you've done any prison time. Like automatically you'll go there and you'll know people that, or there'll be people there that have done fed time. There's people coming from state prison. Jail and prison, although often those crowds overlap because you have to go to jail to go to prison, it's just a very, very different mentality. Now, I hadn't been to a county jail in many years. So I was asking you to go to the mods, and they go, no, we're going to send you to East 1 instead. East 1 is the piranha tank or the gladiator school. I used to get put there when I was like 18 and 19, and I used to get in fist fights literally every day in that tank. It's all young kids, And kids are the worst. That's why they say that California Youth Authority, which is the children's prison, is worse than the adult prison. In Youth Authority, people are getting raped. People are getting murdered. It's hardcore. It's way more violent and sexual than adult prison. So as a punishment for coming in there, gashing my head, talking all that shit to the arresting officer, they wanted to punish me by putting me in East 1. I was like, I don't care. I can do time anywhere. Because after you do 5 years in the feds, and then I had done like another 3 months, I was, I felt like I was, like what I said, I could do time anywhere. So they give you a bedroll, and in Santa Barbara County Jail, they dress you in, they put you in blue scrubs. So it looks like the kind of scrubs that like a nurse would have at a hospital. Just blue scrubs. And they give you orange socks and like orange shower shoes. They give you a bedroll, and you have this like little crate. It's like a little like plastic box where you can put all your commissary and stuff when you get it. You have to dress in, and then they have you grab the linen and the box, and you walk with them. They take you to the housing unit. So they take me to East 1, and there's about 6 white guys and 4 Pisces. Little teeny unit. And I'm looking at, and it's very, very standard when you get to a new spot. Everybody looks at you. You're the new guy. Everybody looks at you, and they try to look hard, and most people look like creepy sexual. They're like, like biting their lip, and you're like, all right, that dude's hard. That guy wants to suck my dick for sure. That guy, I don't even know if that guy knows he's in jail. Yeah, there are definitely people like that. So I'm standing there, and they're all looking at me, and some stocky kid comes up to me. I forget what his name is. Let's just say David. Stocky, about my age. He comes up. He's like, hey, what's up, man? My name is so-and-so. I was like, hey, I'm Ryan. He goes, hey, I'm from Santa Maria. You all right? I was like, no, not really. I'm coming off suicide watch right now. He's like, you fuck around? I was like, yeah. He's like, I got you. You like heroin, right? I was like, yeah. He's like, all right, I'll be right back. I'm in the Sally port. So I'm in this little section, this little caged like section before you actually go into the unit. The cop has to push a button, and like this, the bars slide, and then you can go in. They usually leave you in the Sally part for an hour. Cops at Santa Barbara County Jail are super disorganized or very cruel, and they just like will leave you and take care of it hours later. So I'm standing in the Sally port, and this guy just brings a spoon full of heroin. It's like a little plastic spoon. And I'm looking at it like literally, if I'm just going to keep going with saying what I was going to say. I was so excited to get this spoon of heroin. So he hands it to me, and I just go like this and like tilt it down my nose. That's how you do it. It's called a calito, or a spoon of heroin. And all you do, people think you have to cook heroin up in order to inject it, or black tar anyway. You have to cook black tar up to inject it. That's not the case. It's water soluble. So if you just put the tar in a spoon and you get like a pen cap and add a little water and stir it, it'll eventually liquefy because it's water soluble. So once you do that, you tilt it down your nose, you close one nostril is what I do. I mean, some people are just, I know some junkies that are cold with it. They can like make the spoon like do flips, and they're like snort like the drip upside down. And you're like, Jesus, this guy must have been really bored. So, and it burns. It feels like chlorine's going up your nose, and it makes your eyes water. And it's like the best pain when you're sick. By this point, the dope sickness was slowly creeping in. So to get well on heroin was literally like winning the lottery. I'm exhausted, guys, and I do not want to squander this story. I wanted to get something to you. So this is for you. I'm going to come back tomorrow. I'm going to do more. I have more videos to upload right now that I just haven't. I just wanted to get this guys out to you. because I'm tired and I don't want to be in my head thinking that I let anybody down. I appreciate you. Like, comment, subscribe. Patreon.com/Ryan Leone. Palabra.